Is there a notification that you look forward to receiving? For me, it's anytime I'm told that my capital has made more money. Welcome back to Beyond 40 and Just Getting Started, where we dive into the journey of growth and abundance after 40. I recently spent a week at a lake. One morning, as I was watching the sunrise over the lake, I had a notification pop up on my phone telling me that a little over $10,000 had just been deposited in my account from my investment in BTCI. That's an example of why I love capital leverage. All around us, we have tools that contribute to our ability to achieve more work in our lives. Cars allow us to travel farther than we could on foot. Cell phones allow us to connect with people that we otherwise wouldn't be able to. In a similar fashion, wealth generation has tools to amplify our ability to go further in our financial journey. These tools are commonly called leverage. Naval has a popular framework for considering the different types of financial leverage. In his framework, he breaks them down into three categories: labor, capital, code, and content. Labor is the oldest form of financial leverage. It involves finding somebody who is willing to exchange their time for money and then utilizing their time to achieve more work that returns a higher profit than the cost of the time for that individual. That's the definition of the employee swimming pool that we talk often about here at Beyond 40 and Just Getting Started. Through the centuries, much wealth has been accumulated through the use of labor. The second form of financial leverage that Naval talks about is capital leverage. Capital leverage is when an owner of money contributes that money towards a project that they believe in, anticipating that the project's going to generate value. After the project generates value, some of that value gets returned back to the investor because of the risk that they took in investing in the project in the first place. Capital as a financial form of leverage became popular around the Industrial Revolution. With the advent of factories requiring costly pieces of equipment, suddenly it wasn't possible to just utilize leverage to get a project off the ground. Money was required also to purchase the building and the machinery. Over the last 200 years since the Industrial Revolution, many have used capital leverage as a means to generate very significant wealth. The third form of leverage that Naval talks about is code and content. What he means by that is creating something once that can be distributed through the internet to be consumed or utilized over and over again. For Naval, this new form of financial leverage, code and content, is seen as a great equalizer in the arena of wealth generation. From his perspective, the previous forms of financial leverage, labor and capital, are what he terms permissioned leverage, meaning that anyone who wants to employ labor or capital leverage to accumulate wealth need the permission of those who would contribute the labor, or need the permission of those who own the capital that they are going to manage. Whereas with code and content, this is what Naval calls permissionless leverage, meaning that anyone with access to the internet and with a computer and with the desire and willingness to learn to code or spend the time creating content, they're able to utilize this new form of financial leverage. I personally love capital leverage and think it's the king of the three options. Let me explain why. The quality of life of a capital allocator cannot be matched. First of all, because you're utilizing your money to generate more money, you as a capital allocator retain your freedom. Geographic and time freedom remain to be yours because you're allowing your money to work for you. I love that about capital allocation. I want the ability to be at the lake, look down at my phone and see that I just made more money. The quality of life of a capital allocator is also amazing because being the source of funding for dreamers who have a vision of the future that they want to bring into reality, doors are opened for you to participate in conversations about new ideas and new technologies that you never would have if you weren't the source of funding capital. I find that to be thrilling. I love learning about what's new, what's happening in my community and happening around the world, what the latest technologies are. It gets me excited. The second reason I find capital leverage is the ideal form of leverage is because of the ability to shape what the future looks like. Think about so many technologies around you, from the car to the internet to the computer to your smartphone, even to the modern AI. All of that's been driven because somebody chose to invest in it. Throughout the world, there's people that have a passionate idea that they want to bring into reality. But only those who can find funding are able to even give it a real try. Some of those dreams come to reality and some of them peter out into nothing. But as a capital allocator, we're able to look at what interests us and what we think should exist in the world. We can then utilize the money that we have to not only further benefit ourselves, but to elevate the quality of life of those around us. Think for a minute about what the basic standard of living is today and compare that to what would have been enjoyed by aristocracy centuries ago. Even the wealthy back then could not have envisioned the medical advances, the technological advances, and the comfort advances that we enjoy today. All of that comes about because of somebody's funding an idea, a project. Those funding opportunities create businesses in our local communities that render services that we all need and that we all appreciate. I love capital allocation because of its ability to shape the future, build communities, and bring to life technologies that we believe should exist. My final reason that capital is the king of leverage is because of its scalability. If you think about labor or code and content, there's a level that you can get to as an individual in terms of how much labor you can manage or how much code and content you can produce. At some point, you have to bring on new teams, bring on new systems, bring on new tools to further utilize labor or code and content leverage. On the other hand, capital is easier to manage at a variety of levels. The more you have, the bigger opportunities and bigger projects you look for. The ability to scale up and down means that somebody who's just beginning their journey as a capital allocator is able to participate, while somebody who is far along and has been very successful in generating wealth is also able to participate, finding projects, funding opportunities, and building communities. I love capital leverage. I love the freedom. I think it is the best form of leverage. Now we need to address the permissioned nature of capital leverage as referred to by Naval Ravikant. As mentioned earlier, Naval's viewing this from the perspective of borrowing other people's money and then utilizing that money to invest in opportunities. This is one way to employ capital leverage, yes. But in my eyes, it's not the only way. We live in a time where financial products have been highly customized and made approachable from a variety of investment risk tolerances, experience levels, and capital availability. We live in a day of fractional shares trading, commission-free trading, the Jobs Act creating crowdfunding opportunities everywhere. These have opened up the world for individuals utilizing their own money to be true capital allocators. Because you're utilizing your own money, obviously the permission is on you. And the question becomes, are you going to invest or are you not going to invest? The problem with many of these investment opportunities are the returns are quite watered down. Because of their mass market packaging, the regulation behind it, many of these investment opportunities are so easily available that significant capital chases them, which as a result reduces the ROI on those investments. But this is not the only way to invest. A more powerful way to invest is through networked groups of co-investors. These networked investor groups exist in many formats today, from real estate syndications to private equity to venture capital. All these are examples of groups of people that have come together to use their money, allowing them to participate in bigger deals while only managing their own money. Because these groups are not packaged for the mass market, and because their accessibility is not as easy as stock trading on Charles Schwab, the opportunity exists to achieve much better returns on investment. How does this impact the community of Beyond 40 and Just Getting Started? As individuals who are anxiously pursuing the prosperity pool, capital leverage is a powerful tool to help accelerate that journey. In the coming future, I'm excited to develop one of these networked investment communities where we can review off-market investment deals with controlled risk and asymmetric returns available. There are people out there building services, building companies, and building technologies that will benefit all of our tomorrows. It's our mission to go out and find them, find the ones that we believe in, and help fund them in a way that benefits our communities while also helping secure our position in the prosperity pool. If you're serious about participating in part of a network community, funding real deals, helping build services and businesses that benefit the communities around us, while also propelling our ability to enjoy the prosperity swimming pool, I encourage you to subscribe and join this community.